Hello, and welcome to another edition of Artist Spotlight here on Radio Gordo. I'm your host, Jukebox Johnny. On this episode, we are pleased to present the music of the Saltwater Cowboy, Mr. Alan Moberg. Born in Pender Harbor in 1941, Alan currently lives on Saltspring Island, where he works as a landscaper gardener when not giving generously of his time performing at Salt Spring's many venues and events. Let's have a listen, shall we?
It was a rainy Monday morning, I was driving into town with a suitcase and his overcoat, he turned to thumb me down. Things just seemed to click with us and the conversation flowed as I listened to his story as we sped on down the road. He'd lived here in this city, it was 18 years before. He left behind a wife he loved and a daughter newly born. Though he did his best to make it work and God knew that she tried, they chose to go their separate ways, he and his bride. When he left, she made him promise that he'd not return again. And the welfare of their little one was all that mattered then. But 18 years had passed, he felt he couldn't be denied the chance to have just one look at their one and only child. By the time we reached the downtown streets, we felt like two old friends. He asked me if I'd mind to go with him when he went to the store he knew she worked in on the north side of the town. In checkout number 9 was where his daughter could be found. $1.05, she said, then for a moment her face froze as she looked into the eyes of one she felt that she should know. A tender look he gave her as we quickly passed on by, and I turned around to see the tear that glistened in his eye. As we both stepped outside, you know I felt some pity then. As you looked in through the window just to see her once again. But he shook my hand and said that he was glad for this one time to see the part of him that stood at checkout number 9. He finally saw the one who stood at checkout number 9. Blow, wild wind, carry me on, ever changing, ever moving, ever gone. I couldn't stand the chains of a 9-to-5. I've gotta breathe new life, I've gotta feel alive. Straight suit don't fit and I begin to choke on your dusty air and your city smoke. Blow, wild wind, carry me on, ever changing, ever moving, ever gone. Sometimes I rise from a sleep in the dead of night and a lonesome song I begin to write. Then I take my guitar and I sing that song to the newborn day before I move along. So blow, wild wind, carry me on, ever changing, ever moving, ever gone. Like a mountain stream runs to find the sea and the leaves are blown from the autumn trees. That's the way my life I'm a-traveling through, but if I ever get back, then I'll call on you. Blow, wild wind, to carry me on, never changing, ever moving, ever gone. Ever changing, ever moving, ever gone. I found Montreal in the early fall, and I lived this nightlife fame. The fast pace in Toronto was hard to get onto, but I made it just the same. Then I worked on the docks of Halifax. I had a woman in Charlottetown, but my mind was 4,000 miles back in Gastown. Gastown is a gassy town, there's just no way around that, where the winter's warm and the people cool and the girls know where it's at. I've left these tire tracks in the dust of a dozen swinging towns, but I'm going back, I'm gonna run out of gas in Gastown. I had a 2-week stay in Thunder Bay, Lord, I lived like a wealthy man. Oh, but I sang a different tune in Saskatoon to get a meal from the Sally Ann. Through Calgary, so lonesome for my western seaport town, and all the friends I left behind me back in Gastown. Gastown, it's a gassy town, there's just no way around that, where the winter's warm and the people cool and the girls know where it's at. I've left these tire tracks in the dust of a dozen swinging towns, but I'm going back, I'm gonna run out of gas in Gastown. Lord, I'll know I'm there when I smell salt air and I see the mountains high. Then I'll park this heap on Water Street and I'll never say goodbye. Yes, a young man's gotta have his days of moving all around, but I'm gonna trade these traveling days for Gastown. Gastown, it's a gassy town, there's just no way around that, where the winter's warm and the people cool and the girls know where it's at. I've left these tire tracks in the dust of a dozen swinging towns, but I'm going back, I'm gonna run out of gas in Gastown. I'm going back to Gastown, yeah, Gastown. Going back to Gastown, I'm going back to Gastown. It's a Friday night about 9 o'clock. People all start pouring out of department stores and the supermarket, but as usual I'm headed the opposite way. I'm almost drowned in the rage of tide, but people don't see, they push on by. I guess they're all going home to get a cup of their instant coffee, but I'm going back to my people, for my people still understand. In the warmth of their laughing conversation, I'm gonna recharge my soul and I'll be back. And maybe then I'll find some faith in my fellow man. The crowd is gone from the rainy street. A long-haired boy gives a sign of peace, and I meet one who finally speaks as a man with a badge asks me for my ID. I can smell the factories in the air and the medium red on a Skid Row square, where a man asked me for 20 cents for a cup of coffee. Lord, I'm going back to my people, for my people still understand. In the warmth of their laughing conversation, I'm gonna recharge my soul and I'll be back. And maybe then I'll find some faith in my fellow man. Now I'm not bitter, just in between. I'm a little bit drunk from the things I've seen. Crosswinds blowing on my brain. What was it I thought I had to give? The loudspeaker's voice says all aboard. I get a magazine in the bus depot. I'm thinking to myself that I wish I could take this whole world with me, where I'm going back to my people. For my people still understand. In the warmth of their laughing conversation, I'm gonna recharge my soul and I'll be back. And maybe then I'll find some faith in my fellow man. Going back to my people. Going back to my people. Going back to my people. With you, baby, I get a feeling I haven't felt in years. When we're together, sometimes fight hard, hold back my happy tears. But today, girl, your eyes ask just one question. They ask forever and ever. Will you be the only one to say, can't we keep it simple, baby? Can't we take it slow? I like it so much where we're at, girl. Can't we watch it grow? And take love just one day at a time, and keep it simple, keep it simple, keep it simple. Everything gets complicated everywhere I go. But when you're with me, you make it alright. You soothe my worried soul. Yes, I know, girl, I can read the thoughts there in your mind. But I've been hurt before, so much before. Ever is a long, long time. So can't we keep it simple, baby? Can't we take it slow? I like it so much where we're at, girl. Can't we watch it grow? And take love just one day at a time, and keep it simple, keep it simple, keep it simple. Baby, take it just one day at a time, and keep it simple, keep it simple, keep it simple. It's the Kettle Valley Railroad, my son, the Kettle Valley line. From Hope through to Princeton, Penticton, Pass Trail, to the Crow's Nest on out to the plain. A few years ago now, when I was a boy, I remember so vividly well a still mountain lake rimmed with swamp grass and reeds, and the soft hue as cool darkness fell. From off in the distance, so faintly I heard the wail of an old Loki's song. Closer and closer it echoed and rang through the peace that had lingered so long. And then all at once came a bright pencil beam that pierced through the still mountain night. That old faithful workhorse of cold steel and fire rode proudly along into sight. It's the Kettle Valley Railroad, my son, the Kettle Valley line. From Hope through to Princeton, Penticton, Pass Trail, through the Crow's Nest on out to the plain.
water's all that she needs, then she must be on her way. For there's 66 people who trust in her well to take them to lands far away. With a hot burst of steam and a heave and a groan, she ventured on into the night, and her cry of farewell echoed soft through the trees, a memory so dear in my life. It's the Kettle Valley Railroad, my son, the Kettle Valley line. From Hope through to Princeton, Penticton, past Graham, through the Crow's Nest on out to the plains. It's the Kettle Valley line. She's a lady of the Northland. She's got soft, quiet ways. But sometimes she's as moody as the weather on an early April day. She don't always show her feelings, but I know they're there inside. And the love I know she's holding is as deep as the deep northern skies. When we go home to her people, it's like a shelter from the storm. No matter what the weather is, their laughter always keeps me warm. And I like to be beside her as the evening's coming in. See the color of the sunset on her soft brown skin. And as the mighty Skeena flows, I don't know how she loves me. Sometimes she's a dark-eyed lady of the Northland, and she's mine. I like to show her only good times, but I know that this can't be. So if you see me facing hard times, don't show me no sympathy. For like the river that keeps flowing, there's a river in my life. And I know that I can make it with my lady by my side. And as the mighty Skeena flows, I don't know how she loves me. Sometimes she's a dark-eyed lady of the Northland, and she's mine. She's a dark-eyed lady of the Northland, and she's mine. Baby, you're crying your sensitive tears once again. But no matter what you say to me, girl, I know I'm not to blame. You're hurting yourself, girl, and that's the part that hurts me. Oh, can't you see? Maybe someday the cloud that covers your mind
bit of sun from me will somehow vanish in time. But the loving words that I try to say every day won't mean a thing, girl, if you don't believe this is true. No matter what you think of yourself, baby, I still love you. Forget the past, girl, forget all your pain and all your shame. Leave it all, girl, leave it all back there. Leave it all, girl, leave it all back there. Leave it all back there, yeah. Leave it all back there. Whoa, whoa. La 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 la. La 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 la. Leave it all back there. Whoa, whoa. Leave it all back there, yeah. Leave it all back there, baby. Leave it all back there. Gotta leave it all back there, yeah. Won't you leave it all back there, baby? Leave it all back there. You're buying antiques in this part of town. Oh, you're married now, and it's a hobby that you found. Well, as you browse through all the knickknacks and the rust, hey, take a look at me, I'm a legend in the dust. My clothes are tattered, my hair is turning gray. My thoughts are all old memories stored away. A more ancient relic of love you'll never find. I'm a legend in the dust you left behind. There's a new boutique right next to Herbie's bar. I'll walk with you, 'cause I'm a-going just that far. Now it's early for that, but you'll understand, I trust, that it's part of being a legend in the dust. I'm a time-worn love of many who passed by. The only thing that's new are the teardrops that I cry. A more ancient relic of love you'll never find. I'm a legend in the dust you left behind. To where the evergreen mountains are drowned by the sea. With a one-way purpose he came from the east, and with a trusting grip on the master's hand, half a century's service in a hard new land. Oh, the good Lord smiled on the coast that day when he brought Doc Darby from so far away. The sun must have shone through the cedar trees, and the white waves danced with a western breeze. The Indian hut on a salt chuck shore, a bullet-struck boy lay dying on the floor. The medicine man had done his best, and this white man's ways were put to the test. People still recall how the doctor man saved the young boy's life, and a love began through changing years in the Indian fold. The doc was trusted by young and old. Namu, Bella, Kula, Kitimat Town, Rivers and Smiths, Inlet, Millbank Sound, Douglas Channel, Fisher Channel, Dean Channel too, a few of the places that the doc sailed through. Bella Bella Hospital standing proud, and even the hills seem to say it loud. Oh, we knew this man and we loved him well, but his love for us no tongue can tell. In the evening's dusk, when all is still, not a sound is heard but a seagull shrill, and the whispering of an offshore wind seems to sing a song of our longtime friend. We may come and go like the change of a tide, but things remembered may never die. They live on like the endless sea, and we sail with the dock in a memory.
You're listening to Artist Spotlight on Radio Gordo, featuring the music of BC-born Alan Moberg, veteran of the BC rodeo circuit since 1970, when he wrote this song, the classic Williams Lake Stampede.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Come along, friend, and see part of the last frontier with me. We'll pack our gear and head for the rodeo. We'll camp outside of town, right next to the big fairground. We'll see the sights at the Williams Lake Stampede. Oh, they're coming from Sugarcane, Horsefly, Clean Alkali, Prince George, and Quesnel. And they're coming from Soda Creek, Cache Creek, Anaheim, Bella Coola, Lillooet, you know darn well. They come from far and wide. Have a little drink and watch the cowboys ride. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do at the Williams Lake Stampede. Those broncs from Mulver Hill, they'll test the cowboy's skill, and we'll watch them ride those mean old Brahma bulls. We'll shake hands with old friends that we're glad to see again. We'll meet them all at the Williams Lake Stampede. And there's a pretty girl I know there, big brown eyes and long black hair. As the guitars play, we'll dance underneath the stars. But at noon when I awake, I might feel my poor head ache from the night before at the Williams Lake Stampede. Oh, they're coming from Kersley, South Fort, Lone Butte, and Little Fort, the Gang Ranch, and Hansville. And they're coming from Red Rock, Nicola, Kamloops, Savannah, the 100-mile, yes they will. They'll come from far and wide. Have a little drink and watch the cowboys ride. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do at the Williams Lake Stampede. Oh, we're going to the big stampede. It's the Williams Lake Stampede. Shouting curses at her man while looking back. Clothes were sticking out the sides of her suitcase because she only closed one latch. They were down on their money, and there hadn't been much honey since he got hurt while on the job that fall. For her mother, she was leaving, but her husband wasn't grieving. He looked at her and this is what he said. Who told you that the good life would be easy? It's your choice, you can give up if you like. But I think there's a chance that we could make it, maybe, yeah. If we can take the blows from the long left hand of life. So you came from hard beginnings and your head is sore from hitting that brick wall. Now you were aiming for the skies, but the big time passed you by, and mediocre is the best that you can be called. Now you're thinking about forever as you're walking by the river, and you're wondering if you should leave it all. Now I don't mean to be hard, man, but I once stood where you stand, and the only thing that helped me were these words. Who told you that the good life would be easy? It's your choice, you can give up if you like. But I think there's a chance that you could make it, maybe, yeah. If you can take the blows from the long left hand of life. So you're sitting at your TV with your beer can in your hand, and you're telling me you figure it's too late. You can't save a world filled with mini-skirted girls, and all that's left is violence and hate. And you can't see no solution for the problems of pollution, and the younger generation's gone to pot. As your French fries are fried, you tell me that the world is dying, and you don't even bother trying anymore. Who told you that the good life would be easy? It's your choice, you can give up if you like. But I think there's a chance that we could make it, maybe, yeah. If we can face the blows from the long left hand of life.
Well, I went out working in a logging camp not so long ago. Went out on a steamboat to a haywire Jippo show. Now, I didn't like the work much, and I guess I told him so. For these were the foreman's words to me when he showed me to the door. He said, there ain't no guidelines a-holding you. You ain't got your anchor down. So if you don't like it here, boy, then you don't have to stick around. Your fuel tank isn't empty, and you haven't run aground. Oh no, there ain't no guidelines holding you, and you ain't got your anchor down. And now I met a little city girl, she had good manners too, but what a rigid training program she tried to put me through. She said that she didn't like my ways, and I said, that's just fine, 'cause if you don't like me just as I am, then you can draw the line. I said, there ain't no guidelines holding you. You ain't got your anchor down. So if you don't like it here, babe, then you don't have to stick around. Your fuel tank isn't empty, and you haven't run aground. Oh no, there ain't no guidelines holding you, and you ain't got your anchor down. And now a college fella come out our way. He was working his way through school. He used those long educated words, and he showed us he was cool. Said we couldn't make conversation, or we were really uncouth, you know. I told him we hated to bother him, and this is how I told him. So I said, there ain't no guidelines a-holding you. You ain't got your anchor down. So if you don't like it here, man, then you don't have to stick around. Your fuel tank isn't empty, and you haven't run aground. Oh no, there ain't no guidelines a-holding you, and you ain't got your anchor down. And now I guess there should be a moral to this little song, so I made one up as I sang along. Now if you don't like your surroundings, then I guess you'd better not complain, 'cause someday when you're beefing, they're gonna sing you this refrain. They'll say, there ain't no guidelines a-holding you. You ain't got your anchor down. So So if you don't like it here, boy, then you don't have to stick around. Your fuel tank isn't empty and you haven't run aground. There ain't no guidelines holding you and you ain't got your anchor down. No, there ain't no guidelines holding you, you ain't got your anchor down.
I find my suntanned lady on the beach, or in her daddy's orchard underneath the trees. If the season's right, I might pick me a peach. I'm coming, babe, so won't you wait for me? You're okay, Okanagan, Kelowna or Penticton, any place in that valley's fine with me. Leaving this old city to go where life's still warm and pretty. Okanagan, you're okay with me. It don't take long for me to make up my mind. I hope Princeton Highway I'm bound to climb. Any season, any reason on my mind, yeah. In the winter snow, or when it's blossom time, you're okay, Okanagan, Kelowna or Penticton, any place in that valley's fine with me. Leaving this old city to go where life's still warm and pretty. Okanagan, you're okay with me. That valley's fine with me. Leaving this old city to go where life's still warm and pretty. Okanagan, you're okay with me. Okanagan, you're okay with me. An only child, his gifts were many in the room time. But his thoughts turned from electric trains and the other things so fine. His friend's one gift was a little toy saw that cost about 99 cents. But he traded his train and everything else for the other side of the fence. The girl he married was quaint and pretty, the motherly, homespun kind. But his thoughts turned to the girl next door, dark eyes and a low neckline. Illusions of his captive mind he struggled hard against. But he left his wife and their only child for the other side of the fence. Ah, yes, the grass is greener and the life is sweeter and the rose is redder and it's so much better. So goes the fallacy of the other side of the fence. By the railroad track on a cold November day,
the other side of the fence. Oh yes, the grass is greener, and the life is sweeter, and the rose is redder, and it's so much better. So goes the fallacy of the other side of the fence. So goes the fallacy of the other side of the fence. Near summer's end we kissed goodbye, and you stepped from the wharf onto the plain. And in your hand you clutched the brooch I'd carved for you and taken so much pain. We wished you luck and hoped you'd come home soon. Then you left your mom and me, Sally June. It's autumn now and leaves fall from the trees onto the cold northern ground. And underneath the cloud of smoke this village is a sad and lonesome town. It seems so long since you were city bound. Oh, why did you go, Sally June? Grandpa, Mom, and me, and Davy Brown, and little Sammy Joe, and Lorne went seaweed picking just this spring and camped a week or so along the shore. And Grandpa said he wished you were here too. Oh, when you coming home, Sally June? Now summer's come and gone, and the salmon have returned into the streams, and snow melts from the rocks and trickles down onto the beach like my old dreams. Ah, your mom and I, we wait the winter through, thinking only of you, Sally June. Ah, but the people say times must change, and the people say old days must fade away. Newspaper story that I read way back on page 41 told of a young girl found in a Skid Row hotel, dead and all alone. And they tell me that they found a brooch there too. And you're not coming home, Sally June. Oh, we're never gonna see you, Sally June. I'll bid you farewell, Sally June. If evening ever finds you all alone in this country we call the Caribou, then as the cool evening breeze whispers through the poplar trees, let its haunting melody fall on you. And if you listen very closely, you'll hear the rumble of the stage wheels on the ground as it rolled through Clinton town, headed for the northern plains where men sought their golden gains in the Caribou. Stagecoach on the trail in the Caribou. And if you listen still more closely, you'll hear the nuggets making music in the pan, shook by Billy Barker's hand. Hear the thousands as they came to the town that bore his name in the Caribou. Gold fever running high in the Caribou. And don't be frightened if you hear the sound of gunshots from somewhere near the Wake Up Jake Saloon, as some miner found eternity at noon. And you might hear the gavel bang and Judge Baby say you'll hang in the Caribou. Justice came swift in the Caribou. But the gold rush days soon faded, and the ranchers and the early settlers found this precious piece of ground. And you might hear the lumberjack with his crosscut and his axe in the Caribou. Hear the hammers building towns in the Caribou. Now as you leave your place of silence and you ride on 97 through the towns, through the 100-mile house southward bound, now there's odds that I will lay that you'll never feel the same in the Caribou. It will cast its spell on you, the Caribou. When the baby's tucked away and the children quiet, and the whole house doesn't sound like a protest riot, when our work is finally done and the quiet night turns off the sun, that's when it's tender talking time with you. Tender talking time, that's when we take the time to share the problems and the joys that filled our day. And tender talking time is a little bit of loving time, and how I love this tender talking time with you. When the battle's finally fought and to their sorrow, the kids can't watch just one more show, they got school tomorrow. When the prayers are finally said and the drinks of water served in bed, that's when it's tender talking time with you. Ah, tender talking time, last cup of coffee time. Then you're in my arms again, so soft and warm. And tender talking time is a little bit of loving time, and how I love this tender talking time with you. Married life can get kinda hectic, can it, baby? And the bills that we can't pay try to drive us crazy. But when I kiss their little lips and I feel your loving fingertips, and there's always tender talking time with you. Yes, tender talking time, that's when I'm glad that I'm standing by the ones I love my whole life through. And tender talking time is a little bit of loving time, and how I love this tender talking time with you. My restless mind goes wandering to a carefree boyhood past, where going fishing every day wasn't wrong, and the redbird still sang his song. But this train of life goes rolling on its shiny one-way wheels, and I'm looking down that track knowing can't get back to where I've rode before. 'Cause it's a one-way trip that you ride on this train of life. It was only her 27th summer when her dark eyes lost their glitter, and as the early winter wind started blowing, it broke my young heart to know that she was going. Oh, but this train of life keeps rolling on its shiny one-way wheels, and I'm looking down that track knowing I can't get back to where I've rode with her. 'Cause it's a one-way trip that you ride on this train of life. Now I know the mistakes that I have made, and the folks I know I've hurt still make me sad. Still there's no way I can have my story changed. I can't get back there to have it rearranged. And this train of life goes rolling on its shiny one-way wheels, and I'm looking down that track knowing I can't get back to where I've rode before. 'Cause it's a one-way trip that you ride on this train of life. It's a one-way trip that you ride on this train of life. Oh, I want you to walk in his moccasins for 3 long days. Look out through his eyes and try to see the world his way. Feel the troubles and the problems that may play upon his mind, and walk in his moccasins for 3 days' time. Now it isn't hard to stand aside and call somebody down, especially when that someone doesn't happen to be around. But there's an old Indian saying that I'm trying to understand. It says to walk in his moccasins before you judge the man. Yes, I want you to walk in his moccasins for 3 long days. Look out through his eyes and try to see the world his way. Feel the troubles and the problems that may play upon his mind, and walk in his moccasins for 3 days' time. And now the weight upon one's shoulders may lay heavy on the mind, and he may carry a past that he forgot to leave behind. And me, I only wish that we could fit it in our plans to walk in his moccasins before we judge the man. Yes, I want you to walk in his moccasins for 3 long days. Look out through his eyes and try to see the world his way. Feel the troubles and the problems that may play upon his mind, and walk in his moccasins for 3 days' time. I just try to walk in his moccasins for 3 days' time.
If I hadn't hung around as I was passing through your town, if I hadn't caught the glitter in your eye, if I'd have been too blind to see the questions they asked me, what if I just turned and passed you by? Why, I still might be thumbing my way through Alberta, living in the life that I call free. Might even be somewhere down in California, sleeping underneath the redwood tree. If I hadn't met you when I did, where would I be now?
I'd have used that Greyhound ticket on that night. If I hadn't got so used to having you warm by my side, as I lay there in the early morning light, why I still might be out there in southern Manitoba, with a wheat field blowing high there yellow gold, trying to find a job on the docks of Vancouver, where the southeast wind that blows, the rain is cold. If I hadn't met you when I did, where would I be now? I ain't saying life was roses before you came to me, but that changing's hard and I've got lots to do. For there were times when I was hungry with no place left to go, and things I've done I couldn't tell to you. Why I still might be waking in that hotel in Toronto, with the pain of last night's whiskey in my head, trying to keep my hands warm in the freight yards of Chicago, hitting up the people for some bread. If I hadn't met you when I did, where would I be now?
Alan was inducted into the BC Country Music Hall of Fame in 2008, and deservedly so. We hope you've enjoyed tonight's Artist Spotlight, and will join us next week when we present the music of Downchild Blues Band. I'm your host, Jukebox Johnny. So long for now.